The American era of naval dominance is over. China's new Type 055 destroyer, a 13,000-ton stealth missile supership, has arrived, and it could destroy the entire US fleet in seconds. With an unprecedented 112 vertical launch cells, this beast can track and destroy any aircraft, ship, or land target, with pinpoint accuracy from over the horizon. This Leviathan isn't just the latest in a long line of evolutionary upgrades. It's a revolutionary leap forward, embodying 2 decades of military innovation and ambition. So, what makes this ship so powerful? What sinister secrets lurk beneath its angular hull? As we explore the Type 055's capabilities, you'll understand why US military planners are watching its development with a mix of awe and apprehension. This is no mere surface combatant. It's potentially the ultimate weapon in China's rapidly expanding naval arsenal. Only time will tell how this unfolds. But one thing is certain. After learning the truth about this fearsome destroyer, you'll never look at the vast ocean the same way again. To understand the Type 055's genesis, we need to go back to the mid-1990s when China was still a relatively modest naval power. Focused on coastal defense, their fleet was a ragtag assortment of aging, obsolete platforms plagued by technological inferiority. But even back then, the seeds of ambition had taken root in Beijing. Surveying their meager forces, Chinese military strategists realized a simple truth. To ensure the security of their trade routes and overseas interests, they needed a much larger and more powerful navy capable of operating globally. Thus was born a shipbuilding renaissance unprecedented in modern history. Leveraging their economic might, China went on an insatiable buying and stealing spree, vacuuming up military tech and trade secrets from allies and rivals alike. Whole factories were constructed to mass-produce the most advanced weaponry and sensors. At immense expense in both capital and human currency, China systematically modernized every segment of their naval forces. But they reserved their most lavish efforts for one flagship program, the Type 055 destroyer. The Type 055 isn't just a ship. It's the very embodiment of China's great power aspirations. A statement of arrival meant to announce their entry among the naval elite. And what an entrance it's made. At 180 meters long and displacing over 13,000 tons, the Type 055 is an absolute Goliath, rivaling America's famed Arleigh Burke and Ticonderoga classes in size. But its dimensions alone don't tell the full story of its powers. No, the true genius lies in its judicious balance of concentrated firepower and stealth. The Type 055's entire superstructure is designed to deceive and destroy. Begin with its sculpted, angled outline, which deals radar waves a crippling blow. The ship's armored flanks presents a smaller target, allowing it to ghost past detection ranges partially cloaked. The few surface-mounted weapons are themselves angular, lessening their radar cross-section and blending flush into the hull. Even the superstructure's enclosed funnels and internal radar masts are optimized to thwart enemy sensors. Whether facing electromagnetic, infrared, or acoustic scan, the Type 055 is a master of deception. US intelligence considers its stealth capabilities formidable enough to pose problems at nearly all ranges. But a wolf in sheep's clothing is still a wolf, and herein lies the Type 055's true deadliness. Hidden within that sleek, stealthy frame resides one of the most concentrated samplings of naval lethality the world has ever known. For a taste of its firepower, look no further than its vertical launch cells, those unmistakable rectangular blisters dotting the fore and aft decks. In total, the Type 055 cones, with a staggering 112 of them, more than any other Chinese warship. Within those cells is an array of long-range munitions optimized to obliterate any target. Standard is the HHQ-9B surface-to-air missile with its 200-kilometer reach and Mach 4 speed, perfect for destroying incoming hostiles. But the real power lies in its loadout flexibility. See, the Type 055 is one of the first Chinese vessels able to quad-pack certain munitions. Using complex sortation gear, its vertical cells can each accommodate 4 smaller missiles versus the single larger one they were designed for. In practice, this means the Type 055 could carry over 400 FC-3000N surface-to-air missiles, allowing it to practically blanket the skies in a spherical arsenal of interceptors capable of destroying waves of standoff threats. Nothing in the US arsenal can compete in sheer missile density, and that's just its anti-aircraft teeth. The Type 055 also houses an incredibly dense anti-ship armament, including the YJ-18 Eagle Strike cruise missile. With a 540-kilometer range and sea-skimming approach, the YJ-18 accelerates to Mach 3 in its terminal phase, arriving over the horizon before US ships can react. Some analysts even believe the Type 055 will pack tactical ballistic missiles. The Type 055 also carries land attack cruise missiles, able to lob precision munitions deep inland. An entire enemy naval base or coastal city could find itself under bombardment from a ship lurking just over the horizon. In short, the Type 055's vertical cells represent a veritable apocalypse, able to track and prosecute both airborne, surface, and land targets simultaneously from over the horizon. Its mix of speed, stealth, and standoff range lend it strategic flexibility no other surface force possesses. Of course, a warship, even one as heavily armed as the Type 055, doesn't operate in a vacuum. The ship is intended as the centerpiece of a deadly surface action group, providing the tactical command and control brain for China's other air defense platforms. Chief among these scouts is the Type 055 sibling, the Type 052D guided missile destroyer. While sporting just 64 vertical cells, this smaller craft compensates with a unique role. See, its powerful active electronically scanned array radars can detect and track targets at immense ranges, far beyond the Type 055's onboard sensors. This duo operates like a roving killer team. The 052D probes ahead, scanning the area with its sensors, allowing the Type 055 to prosecute targets remotely and far over the horizon using its devastating missile armament. In the meantime, the Type 055's own sensor suite isn't lacking. It fields the new Dragon Eye ESA radar, able to track ballistic missiles and low-orbiting satellites, in essence, blinding the eyes of opposing forces. Some claim it could even feed targeting data to China's anti-satellite missile batteries, crippling an enemy's orbital network. And coordinating this sensor killer web is the Type 055's secure, jam-resistant communications fit straight off sci-fi. Its advanced data links and encrypted transmitters share targeting data with other assets, guiding missile volleys while enabling the entire surface group to operate dispersed yet united. But the Type 055's utility doesn't end with its current weapons fit. No, in a deeply unsettling development for US, this behemoth seems purpose-built to accommodate the next generation of exotic, game-changing armaments. For instance, reports indicate China is hot on the trail of developing electromagnetic railguns and high-powered laser weapons. These directed energy weapons could theoretically disintegrate incoming missiles and punish surface targets with surgical precision at vastly reduced cost per shot compared to conventional munitions. The Type 055 is one of the few existing vessels with enough electrical generation capacity to power these future weapons. Space and energy provisions seem built in to integrate these next-level directed energy armaments as they become available. Likewise, the destroyer is considered a prime candidate to eventually deploy advanced anti-ballistic missile interceptors. Its powerful radars could theoretically acquire, track, and terminate incoming ballistic threats from hundreds of miles away before they even enter the atmosphere, a capability the US Navy currently lacks on any surface assets. Simply put, the Type 055 is a future-proofed battle wagon, almost cynically crafted to gain potency with each passing year. Whereas most advanced warships become decrepit and obsolete within a decade, the Type 055's versatile design allows it to continuously integrate new systems as they emerge, compounding its tactical advantage over time. This inherent adaptability represents a psychological victory of sorts too. You see, while the US must soon decide whether to extend the life of its aging Arleigh Burke destroyers or commit to an entirely new hull, the Type 055 allows China to sidestep that difficult decision point. No matter which path America chooses, Beijing can patiently bide its time, gradually evolving and modernizing their existing Type 055 fleet in lockstep with technological progress. So, while probing the Type 055's armaments and design philosophy illuminates its lethality, the numbers game gives rise to perhaps even greater concern for US naval strategists. As of 2024, China has already launched 8 of these 13 000-ton juggernauts, with a 5th freshly commissioned this year and more under construction. All signs point to the PLA pressing ahead with floating additional Type 055 hulls to serve as the core of their rapidly expanding surface forces and carrier strike groups. Meanwhile, the United States currently fields just 22 guided missile cruisers, and those venerable Ticonderoga-class ships are fatigued, with more being decommissioned each year while no replacements are currently planned. Couple this imbalance alongside China's rapid production of new warships, submarines, and auxiliaries, while America's own shipbuilding has plateaued, and the Pentagon has serious reason to fear China. Because at the end of the day, a missile is a missile, whether launched from a stealthy Type 055 or not. And China now seems determined to overwhelm with sheer mass and volume of precision-guided munitions from an ever-growing array of dispersed, networked platforms. It's naval war by saturation, with the side possessing the deepest reserve of missiles and most numerous launchers gaining the decisive edge. Some fear the Red Dragon's growing inventories and emphasis on anti-access, area denial technologies like DF-21D anti-ship ballistic missiles could make operating US carrier groups in the Western Pacific a strategically losing prospect. After tanking a couple of those hypersonic missiles, the defenses of even America's most powerful surface combatants could be stripped bare. Others worry China has effectively realized a new paradigm, leveraging shorter defensive ranges by firing first, fast, and in incredible volume. They can play missile hockey for a long time against an American fleet forced to operate within reach of their ever-expanding anti-ship bastion. Slowly, steadily, the PLA fleet could degrade and deplete US magazines until their vessels are rendered without any munition. That's a harrowing prospect considering the vital trade choke points and maritime lifelines America is tasked with protecting. This combination of technology and mass production represents a generational challenge all its own. How can America respond? That's a question whose ramifications will be felt for decades to come. Whether the Type 055 proves to be a white elephant, an unstoppable juggernaut, or something in between remains to be seen. Perhaps Beijing has overbuilt and overinvested, rendering these advanced destroyers prohibitively expensive paper tigers, soon to be outclassed by newer American designs. That's entirely possible. But as this warship of warships takes its place as the core of China's rapidly burgeoning naval armada, one thing is clear: the future is now. The balance of maritime power has shifted beneath our feet, bringing with them a new age of insecurity and instability. How America rises to meet this challenge will determine its effectiveness as a guarantor of global order moving forward. Will the Type 055 patrol the high seas as a bully, enforcing Beijing's regional dominance? Will it serve as a roaming fortress, protecting China's long-standing economic interests worldwide? Or could these ships become the vanguard of a true blue water military presence bent on projecting Chinese hard power into every ocean on the planet? Only time will tell how the Type 055's potent mix of firepower, stealth, and sensors will be employed. But one thing is certain: this ship represents the closest the world has come to a perfect blend of destructive capability since the rise of the battleships over a century ago. With each hull commissioned, the odds continue tipping in Beijing's favor should tensions escalate into outright conflict. Quietly, while America's focus was diverted elsewhere, China has erected the pillars of a truly global navy. So let me know what you think about this ship in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click that bell icon to stay up to date on all the latest revelations in the fascinating world of military aviation.